Here are 5 Caribbean leaders who have been executed. Coming in at number 5, Attorney at Law Mr. Maurice Bishop was the Prime Minister for Grenada. He was assassinated on October 19, 1983. But what happened why this young attorney was assassinated? Well, after Grenada gained independence in 1974, it elected Sir Eric Gairy as the Prime Minister, but Maurice Bishop was not happy with that. And on March 13, 1979, Maurice Bishop formed a party or a movement called the New Jewel Movement and seized power during a bloodless revolution against the Sir Eric Gairy party, and Eric Gairy was out of the country at the time. And so Mr. Maurice Bishop formed government using Mr. Bernard Cord as his deputy prime minister. However, what really caused the problem is because he had a leftist ideology, say a kind of Cuba and Soviet Union ideology, which America didn't really like at the time. So this was a significant thing in English Caribbean history, because this was the first time an English-speaking Caribbean country would ever be a communist. Yes, since he controlled it since 1979 to 1983, it made history. That was the first English-speaking Caribbean country to have accepted communism, what we call our Marxist or Leninist idea. So what really happened is that there was now an internal flare-up in the party that he used to conquer the government. And so after the internal flare, they placed Maurice Bishop under house arrest with many of his ministers. The same party, the same revolution party he used, placed him same one under house arrest, right? With many of his ministers. And then now, so this happened on October 19, 1983, and he was assassinated at Fort Rupert, now called Fort George, right? But on the 25th, which is 6 days after that, US President Ronald Reagan ordered the invasion of Grenada. And so the location of Maurice Bishop's body remains until today is still unknown. Number 4, former Haitian President Jovenel Moïse. He's the 43rd president of Haiti. He served from 2017 until his assassination in 2021. He was 53 years old. Coming in at number 3, Dr. Walter Rodney, a lecturer, a Guyanese resident, one of the most influential member of the intelligentsia community in the Caribbean. He was assassinated on June 13, Friday, June 13, 1980 in Georgetown, Guyana. He was assassinated by the government of Guyana by one Sergeant Gregory from the Guyanese army. He was given a walkie-talkie to give Dr. Walter Rodney to use, and then on the other end he would trigger an explosive device whenever Dr. Walter Rodney was using the walkie-talkie. After he did that, he was paid by the Guyanese government. He has not been heard from since. Indeed, sad indeed. And this was an attempt to silence the lower and middle class, which Dr. Walter Rodney was a big advocate for. Coming in at number 2 is Dictator of the Dominican Republic, Rafael Trujillo. He ruled Dominica from 1930 until 1961. His 31 years he reigned terror on the residents of Hispaniola and oppressed them with his secret police and his fellow cabinet members. He was executed on May 30, 1961. By a group of conspirators led by General Antonio Limbert Barrera. In the immediate aftermath, Trujillo's son Ramfit took temporary control of the country, executing most of the conspirators. Coming in at number 1 is Lieutenant Richard Sharples. He was the governor of Bermuda. He resigned his job as a British politician and moved to Bermuda in late 1972 to take up position as the governor. He was assassinated by a black power group called the Black Beret Cadre.